Hello there, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It is beautiful here in Pennsylvania, and I am enjoying myself. So I wanted to check in with you, talk with you. In case you didn't know, my name is Deborah Lassiter, and I'm the founder of DCL Ministries. I hope you're enjoying this ministry because it's for you. It's really to motivate you, to equip you for the things of life, to help you navigate emotionally. So I hope you're enjoying our posts. I hope you're enjoying Dovetails, our Christian radio show. I am also the author of Beyond the Face of the Movies and my newly released book titled The Women God Used. And thank you all for the feedback. Thank you all for the encouragement. But today I wanted to chat with you, I wanted to talk with you because we are kicking off our 6-month series on Dovetails, which is a Christian radio show about testimony. It's about drive, it's about tenacity, it's about pursuing our purpose, it's about yielding and holding back, it's about giving and loving. And it is really about allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you, to help you maneuver this world, and to give you the blueprint of the source, which is Jesus Christ, the one that has died for us all. So Dovetails is just an awesome show. We come on every Sunday, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time under PJC Media Network. And if you have missed previous episodes, go log on to www.blogtalkradio.com/PJC Media. Well, today I'm excited because we're about to kick off our 6-month series on separation and divorce. DCL Ministries was birthed from my divorce, was birthed from when I went through such a hardship in my life and I really didn't know where I was going to be. I really was frustrated and devastated because the foundation under me had just fallen out. And I remember thinking to myself, God, if this can happen to me, I mean, what else is going to happen to me? So it was in those moments of uncertainty that DCL Ministries was birthed. It was in those moments of uncertainty that my first book was written. It was in those moments of uncertainty that I wrote my first play, my first Christian comedy. Who'd have thought in my despair I'd be cracking jokes and preparing a theatrical play that has really had a lot of humor in it, but also paralleled with a lot of pain. So I'm here to encourage you and motivate you today because a lot of times in separation and in divorce versus us, or maybe us trying to hold back, maybe us just giving some time in between relationships, we run right back into another relationship. We think that's going to solve our problems if we find someone else that loves us and adores us. And many times we don't give enough time in between relationships. Well, I wanted to just talk with you a little bit about something I heard a pastor say, T.D. Jakes in particular. And he said that when we are really in relationships, we should parallel it with the tabernacle and the Israelites and their sacrificial system that was in the Old Testament. And of course, I sat there and was like, huh? Like what? Well, he said something really, really interesting. So in the Old Testament, of course, the Israelites were brought into the desert after Moses, the deliverer, got them from the hands of Pharaoh. And they were brought into the desert to worship God, to understand who this God is. In biblical times, we have to realize there was a lot of pantheism, a lot of polytheism, which is a belief in many gods. And pantheism is a belief that everything's a god. But in order for the Israelites to understand, you know, this God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this God who is the creators of the heaven and the earth, there's a way to worship him. This is a holy God. And of course, God had to introduce himself to the people. Well, in regards to the sacrificial system, there was the tabernacle. God wanted to dwell with the people. He wanted to be with the people. He wanted to be with his creation, to communicate, to lead them, to inspire them, to motivate them. I love him. Anyway, so when they came to the tent of meeting, which was at the beginning of the tabernacle. So you have the tent of meeting where the Israelites would come up and give their sacrifice to Aaron, the high priest. Then you had the outer court, you had the inner court, then you had the holy place, and then you had the Holy of Holies. Well, T.D. Jakes said that in relationships, we can't just take people from the tent of meeting where we just meet them for coffee at Starbucks. And then all of a sudden, within that conversation, we have jumped to the Holy of Holies. We've jumped to the heart of ourselves. We've told them everything. And in some ways, I always think that it's like vomiting on a person. And a lot of times we sit down and we feel like we've met a kindred spirit. Perhaps we feel like there's some chemistry. And what do? We unload everything that has ever happened to us in Starbucks while they're having coffee. Well, T.D. Jakes said that, we really need to gradually let people into our lives, gradually let them into our Holy of Holies, gradually let them into the heart of us. That we, at that 15-minute meeting at Starbucks, that we just need to nestle in understanding their character, who they are, how they interact with people. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions and to get to know one another. Many times we wonder, especially as women, like, how come we weren't courted and how come there's no romance? Well, many times if we are rushing the process, if we're just not sitting back and allowing men and people that we're interested in to reveal themselves to us, then we are missing out. We're losing out on the gorgeousness of really a lot of things that relationships are, they come together and we laugh and we talk. We're going to miss out on those nuggets. We're going to miss out on those sweet moments. And so what we really need to do is just have the tent of meeting. Then after that, maybe after a couple months, you're letting them into the outer court. Again, being protective. In the Bible, it says, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. That, folks, we all have issues. And it's not about lying or misleading someone when you first meet them. But, within that first 15 minutes, that first month, we need to gradually allow people to see all the things in our lives, that we don't just vomit on them and expect them to love us instantly. It just doesn't work that way, especially when people have been hurt and they've had previous relationships of separation and longing and despair and disappointment. Perhaps someone has wrestled with cancer. Perhaps someone is a widow. And what we're doing, we're just rushing all of that. We need to let people unpack and enjoy the process. So please join us for these next 6 months on Dovetails every Sunday, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as we unpack the many layers of separation and divorce. Folks, there is hope and there is life after what we call rock bottom. So keep in touch with me, stay tuned, and I will see you next time.